world told you who to be. I'm serious. Who exactly were you before the world told you who you were to be? Now, I don't want us to rush past this. I don't want us to just skip past this question because this is something really worth thinking about because too many people in general, but especially people who are leaders, entrepreneurs, parents, caregivers, high achievers in general, it's not as easy to answer as it sounds. When you have spent years being who other people needed, it can be hard, very hard and challenging to remember what you wanted before the roles, responsibilities, the titles, the expectations, and the obligations started shaping so much of your life and who you are now. You became the person people could count on. You learned how to make decisions, solve problems, keep things moving, carry responsibilities, care for others, manage the business, lead the team, run the household, raise the family, support your friends, and carry what needed to be carried. There is strength in that. Don't get me wrong. There is honor in being dependable, but there is also a heavy weighted cost when you never stop long enough to ask whether the life you are maintaining still is the person that you are becoming. Maybe that question has been coming up for you in recent days or months or even in the last few years. It's been coming up lately, and maybe something changed and is evolving in your work, in your health, in your relationships, in your family, in your business, or even in your personal life. And now you are looking at things very differently. Things that most people have no idea that you're even thinking of, even those closest to you. And maybe the goals that you once chased and the dreams that you once had no longer are the same. And perhaps, just perhaps, that space that you once prayed to enter no longer feels like it's where you are to belong. And maybe you have achieved things other people admire and are commending you for, but internally you are wondering, is this still really the life that I want? Or have I gotten very good at keeping it going? That is not a small question to ask yourself. And it is not always easy to admit because from the outside, externally, people may think that you are doing just fine. They see who you are, they see the accomplishments, they see all of that. They see how busy or productive you are. They see you coming and smiling and serving and giving and grinding and hustling and doing this and that, and how you keep it moving no matter what's happening in your life. But they may not see the very part of you that is tired of living by an outdated, old, played out version of yourself. And they may not see that you are changing, not for the worst, but for a better way in a different direction. And they may not exactly see that something in you wants more space to actually breathe, more space to be able to choose, and more freedom to explore other options and to live in a way that actually fits who you are now. And I want you to not only hear this next part, but I want you to listen very closely to what I'm saying whenever you are watching this. You are not wrong for having this growth. We hear it so many times now in 2026 about growth and changing and going to the next level. Yes, but oftentimes we don't know how to articulate that. when people have certain expectations of who we are. Everybody's going to always have an opinion. People will always have a viewpoint of who you are and how you should be. And change can make people very uncomfortable. And it's not that you are ungrateful for what you have achieved or what you have done. Or you may be in a space where you say, look at my age. I'm already established, or I already know which way I'm going. Why would I switch up now? But pay attention if something no longer feels right. You are not in this space because the life that once made sense now feels like it's getting smaller or too heavy or too far removed. But no, sometimes life has a way of making us stop, examine, and look at what we have been carrying. It makes us really pay close attention with a microscopic lens as to what we once agreed to with ourselves, to others, and even with our God, if you serve a particular deity. Because in so many ways, there's a spiritual move in the midst of everything else. And what we have outgrown, what we kept doing out of habit, or what people expected us to do, is no longer the same. But you are allowed to grow beyond the current version of yourself, beyond what got you here. You are allowed to ask those new exploratory questions about your life. You are allowed to begin that process of really figuring out what you are going to do next and how to remain resilient in it, and not simply from the aspect of bouncing back. You are allowed to follow a new framework and a state of mind. But the thing is, it does not mean that you have to throw everything away that you have built. But it does mean that you must be honest enough with your own self, to thine own self be true, and to ask what still is appropriate and what still fits right now in my life. And what is it that I need to release? What do I need to stop pretending like it's okay? And what do I want the next chapter of my life to feel and look like? Because this is where so many high achievers can get stuck. They keep doing what worked before, what people expected of them, even when it no longer gives them that fulfillment. It's okay for chapters to close. It's okay to be open to the new possibilities. It is okay to step into something that may be unfamiliar yet brings you such contentment. It's okay. And I want you to really take a few minutes to answer this question. What part of me have I been ignoring because I was too busy being who everyone else needed? Do not skip that answer. Let it sit with you. Let it rest. Pay attention to what comes up, even if it surprises you. And then come back and share one word in the comments that describes the part that is ready to come forward now. And if you don't want to share it publicly, that's fine. That's where I come into play. I invite you because the work I do are with people in that very situation, helping leaders and those who are entrepreneurs and high achievers really figure out, what in the world am I going to do next? Now that this disruption has come, now that this type of curveball has come my way, now that I am growing and shifting and shaping into someone else. Because you don't have to keep building a life around something that no longer fits who you are. And if you're ready to have that real conversation, send me a direct message or simply comment here in the comments, ready, and let us start the conversation on your next season and what you have been waiting for. Talk to you soon.